Yeah, I basically did an entire vlog of my trip to Crete, and I don't think I mentioned camera gear once. Sorry about that. If you're new here, my name's Mike. I shoot travel vlogs and like to talk about the camera gear I use to make the travel vlogs, apart from the last travel vlog where I don't think I mentioned anything to do with the camera gear I was using. So I'm going to address that now. So, Mike, what camera gear did you use? I'm going to talk about some of the pieces of equipment that I found vital in this trip to shoot some of the things I was doing, and also some of the bits of kit that I took that I didn't use at all, that weren't any use and I could have just left them at home. First thing I'm going to talk about is this camera here, which I'm shooting on at the moment with the EFM 22mm 2.0 aperture lens. That is the Canon M50 camera, which is an astounding bit of kit. It really is. I'm finding it very difficult to find reasons to upgrade from this because the jump is ridiculous. The next one up, really, before you start seeing any major differences, I mean, the new M6 Mark II looks pretty decent, and then jumping up another £1,000 or another £800 from that would be the Canon EOS R, which has been out close to a year now, maybe a bit more. So you can't help but think that they're going to upgrade that, or there's going to be a Mark II coming soon. So we shall see on that. But again, spec-wise, it's pretty similar to the M50. Okay, maybe the quality of the sensor would be a lot better, and you can shoot in a log file, which then makes it a lot easier to color grade. But these are all kind of incremental jumps in my opinion. They're not anything massive. Had there been 120 frames per second at full 1080p, then yeah, that would be very interesting. And with the release of the M6 Mark II having that already, kind of makes you think that that's coming. So perhaps I keep my money in my pocket and stick with this. The other piece of kit, which I found absolutely vital and I love to bits, is, yeah, it's the Mavic 2 Pro. This guy here. Say hello, fella. There it is. I've got an ND filter on there from Polar Pro. What I've got there, and that's a gradient one. Yeah, I bought some gradient filters, which basically have it's a heavier filter at the top than it is at the bottom, which means you can actually get some cool effects of a brighter ground. So if you've got like a sunset sky going on, you can actually darken that down, but still get the vividness of the ground coming up. That is pretty cool. Was it worth me spending that amount of money to get 3 filters? I'll get back to you on that one. But yes, this is a great bit of kit. It's fantastic. And in fact, I'll go into more detail on this in another video because I could talk for hours on this and it would waste a lot of time in this one. So check out the video coming up on that in particular. The other piece of kit, which I'm looking around for at the moment, where is it? I use it all the time. Here it is. So the other piece of kit which I used was the GoPro Hero 7 camera. Now, the fact that this has hyper smooth stabilization in it up to 60 frames per second, it won't do it at 120 frames per second, which is a little bit annoying, but not really that needed. But that's great. This is a great camera. And I basically shot on flat settings. I had the ISO max set mostly to 400, just to reduce any kind of noise issues I have with it. But in terms of what I could do with the color grading, when this is shooting in flat, I could pull things all over the place. Yeah, it's just really great. So I would probably say those 3 bits of kit were key. A particular lens which I was using a lot was the EF 24mm 2.8 with the Viltrox speed booster, which gave me that really shallow depth of field. And when you put in the equations of the 1.6 crop on the M50 with the speed booster, you get the focal length to be around 27mm. So it's about right. When you're holding it out in front of you, you can just about get enough of your face in the shot. So there we go. God, this is going to be fun to edit. I've just noticed that there's sunshine coming in now in British weather. Next I'm going to talk about things which I thought I was going to use loads, but I didn't. Not on this particular trip anyway. First point would be the Fusion 360 camera. I could have used this. I could have used this for lots of things, but I just ended up not needing it really because I had plenty of other footage and the sort of things I was shooting weren't really lending itself to this camera. The other thing which I didn't use, which I thought I was going to use, oh by the way, I used the Low Pro Tactic 450, which is the older one. So yeah, that was the bag I took with me. Accepted by all good airlines, even EasyJet. Yes, so I bought myself this, which I still don't know how to put together even. This is the DJI Ronin SC gimbal. I used this on the Rethymno scenes. So when we were going through the streets of Rethymno, we get some really nice smooth shots and down low shots so you could see the feet moving. It was cool, but it's a lot of faff. It's a lot of faff to carry a gimbal around with you, and it's quite specific. So I don't regret buying it because I'm definitely going to use it for things, but when you're making travel vlogs it's kind of a bit tricky to use it. Well, it's not tricky. It is and it isn't, but that's one thing I perhaps could have lived without. But I use this for those Rethymno walking shots and also for in the car on the way to the airport. That was pretty cool actually, you know, passing movement kind of shots. So that was good. And the other thing, I don't think there was anything. I can live without less lenses. I didn't really use all my lenses. So it was really, like I said, this guy here. So you can see the Viltrox EFM speed booster, and that's a 24mm EF 2.8. And then the other one I have here, which is the, what is this? This is the 1.450mm. Just with a simple adapter. It's not a speed booster, it's just an adapter, because 1.4 is plenty. And I used the in-camera digital stabilization with this, and it worked quite well. These two lenses, absolute key for doing what I was doing. I could probably just live with these two. Very simple. So I didn't need things like this guy here, 70-300, but I did use, I did use this one. So this is the 16-35 L series 2.8, but no stabilization in this, and it's really heavy, which puts me off traveling with it. So I think this may stay at home for the next trip. So there we go. So these two alone, that's quite a lot of weight. We can just be good. Don't need that. But I used this one for the shot where I revealed the unicorn, giant inflatable unicorn to Maria.
What's that?
Which was a great shot. So yeah. I don't regret taking that. I hope that clarifies any questions you may have. If there was a particular shot that you were curious to know how I did, or what particular piece of equipment I used to make that shot, drop me in the comment section below. I'll put a link to the whole trip at the end of this video up in one of the top corners so you can have a watch and see what you think. And if you got any tips for me, go, oh, it would have been so much better if he'd done this, let me know. Sharing is caring. Then that concludes that. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. As I said at the beginning of this video, my name's Mike. I shoot travel videos and I like to talk about the camera gear I use to make the travel videos. So if that sounds like the kind of thing you're interested in, consider subscribing. Right, I'm going to put all these lenses away. Right, see ya.